Farm Progress Broadcast presents This Week in Agribusiness, serving America's most essential industry. Brought to you by Case IH. Solutions for every challenge. Equipment for every farm. Case IH, built by farmers.
Hello, folks, and thanks for joining us here for This Week in Agribusiness. I'm Mike Pearson. Around the country this past week, severe storms caused a lot of headache for growers, not just across the Midwest, but truly everywhere in this nation. And that's been a challenge for a lot of folks this growing season. Joining me now to talk about agronomy for your acres with our friends from Nutrien Ag Solutions is Jeremy Leininger. He's a sales manager with Nutrien there in Vandalia, Illinois. And Jeremy, rain was a challenge, I know, in your neck of the woods early on. How have things developed as the growing seasons move forward?
Yeah, we got a week to run. It was about a week, the week right before Easter, we had a week to run, and we were able to get a lot accomplished, but it was a short time span and it was fairly early. So, but after that, we got knocked out for it was a better part of a month, and we were just wondering if we were ever going to be able to get back into the fields. And then finally, the right conditions hit, and we have been able to get everything pretty much in the ground. And since then, the rains that have came have been extremely favorable. We'll catch maybe an inch here, half inch there, but everything looks phenomenal in our area right now.
That is good to hear. So when you're talking with your growers there around Vandalia, where are we in the season? What's the next important pass for the growers in your neck of the woods?
So the majority of the corn right now in our area is between that V4, V5 stage, some a little less, some a little more, but we're getting ready to make that second pass of herbicide application. And whenever we're making that herbicide application, we want to take into consideration some other things that may need to go into the tank. One of the things that I want my growers to know is that I would rather them be proactive instead of reactive. With these wetter conditions that we've received, that can be a breeding ground for disease. So I highly recommend a fungicide application at this pass. And, that way, if we go out there and check and we see a disease is out there in the field, it's just like you or I, whenever we start to cough or show symptoms of a cold, it's probably a little too late. That disease has been present in the plant. And so we need to address it before that disease starts to show symptomology.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as I think about that. When you get that cough, when you get that runny nose, the goal is to be proactive, right? And do the steps that can nip it in the bud. When you're thinking proactivity for your growers, what does that look like? Are you just automatically incorporating a fungicide?
Yeah, a lot of times we will put a fungicide out there. And even if you just take away the disease factor, because that can vary from year to year on what kind of disease is going to be in the area, maybe hybrid dependent, maybe whatever hybrid it is you're planting doesn't have as strong a disease tolerance to certain things. It'll help with plant health overall too. Even if there's not a disease that's necessarily present, it's going to help with stress mitigation, whether it's too wet, not, drouthy, whatever that may be. It's going to help with plant health too.
I know one of the tools that's out there is the STAT, the Soil Test Analysis tool. Jeremy, fill us in. What is that and how does it work?
So that is a tool that was developed by Nutrien, and basically what it is we go out and get a soil sample taken of the grower's field, and whenever we get the results back, we are able to punch it into this document, and it helps us to predict what we may fall short of, problem areas in the field, gives us the correct ratios, and just really helps us what I'm going to term not just spray and pray. We're not just throwing micronutrients out there. Although the plant may need some of them, it can help us to get a more dialed in approach and apply the right amounts of nutrients that crop needs at the correct timing.
That makes a lot of sense. With margins where they're at, you want to utilize the tools as you need to. Jeremy Leininger, sales manager with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Folks, you can learn more by visiting nutrienagsolutions.com.